Sup guys, this is Jess and welcome back to Cloud of Imagination. So I thought for this week's video, seeing as we had International Women's Day this week, that I would do a top 10 list of my favourite female characters. This was really hard to narrow down because I have a lot of favourite female characters in a lot of things. And this list will cover like characters from my childhood, more recent favourite characters, maybe spanning over a lot of different genres and like mediums. So there'll be characters from books, characters from games, characters from movies, characters from shows, comic book characters. So as of right now, this is my top 10 fictional female characters. At number 10, I put Hermione Granger from Harry Potter. She is a character I've loved since I was a kid. I grew up with Harry Potter and she was my favourite character. I wanted to be Hermione when I was a kid. Still kind of do. She was a fantastic member of the Golden Trio and she was just my favourite out of the entire series. I remember for World Book Days when I was a kid, I'd always like dress up in my Gryffindor robes with my wand as Hermione Granger, and I still love her to this day. So I had to put her on this list. Even though I'm probably not as big into Harry Potter as I was when I was a kid, it still had a big impact on me, so I had to put her on here. At number 9, I put Zelda from the Legend of Zelda series. This was another character from my childhood. I grew up playing Zelda, watching my brother play Zelda, and I still love it now, and Zelda was always a great character. What I liked about her, I mean it was probably more so in other games in this series rather than some editions, that she wasn't just the helpless princess that needed saving. What I liked in like Twilight Princess and like Wind Waker and Ocarina of Time is that she tried to help you. She'd help you in the final fight, or she'd be working with you, and I really loved that about the character. I mean, I loved that whole bit in Twilight Princess where it gets to the end and you're doing your final fight with Ganon and you're riding on horseback and you've got Zelda sat behind you with the light arrows and she's helping you. But she is a fantastic character and a fantastic princess, and I love Zelda. What can I say? At number 8, I put Kaylee from Firefly. Kaylee is one of my favourite characters from Firefly. I think I came to it fairly late, but it's a series I think I remember catching a few odd episodes of when I was younger. I'm a big Firefly fan. It's one of my favourite shows of all time, and Kaylee is definitely my favourite character. She's probably up there with Mal, although I love everybody, but I just love like how great she is. I mean, she's smart, she's a mechanic, but she's also very cheerful and kind of a bit of a child at heart, but she can also hold her own, and there's so many layers to her, and I just think she's a really great character. She's definitely my favourite, and I really love Shindig. Shindig's probably one of my favourite episodes, mainly for a lot of the Mal and Nora stuff. But that really floral, fluffy dress that she gets, and Mal actually goes ahead and gets it for her, and you can see how happy she is, and it's just great. But yeah, Kaylee is another favourite. She's an awesome character. Okay guys, sorry if the lighting seems to have changed. The sun's just decided to come out and now I'm getting blinded. So yay! At number 7, I put 2 from Dark Matter. She's up there. I think her and 5 are probably my favourite characters from Dark Matter. I wasn't initially maybe going to include her on this list, but I had to because she's a fantastically well written character. That, and I was over the moon when they revealed that she's actually bisexual, but also as well as that, she's the captain of the ship, and she's just a fantastic female lead, and I just love everything about her. She can be tough, she can be brave, she can be vulnerable. There's so many different layers to her, and she's just so kick-ass. I love how kick-ass she is, and I love how much she cares about her crew and her like kind of motherly instincts with 5. I think everyone kind of has those parental instincts when it comes to 5, but I love that she's like that, and I had to include her on this list. At number 6, I put Charlie from Supernatural. Charlie's a really great character. I loved her introduction in season 7, and I love how she kind of almost became the little sister of Sam and Dean. I thought that was really cool, and I love how nerdy she is. All the references she brings and everything she does, and one of my favourite episodes was, I think it was the LARP episode, where she's like Queen of Moondor. I think that's what it was, and I really loved that episode. It was so great. It's made me want to actually maybe LARP at some point. I don't know if I ever will, but I think it'd be fun. It introduced me to Felicia Day as well, and Felicia Day is amazing and really inspired me, and I read her autobiography and absolutely loved it, and I'll always be grateful to the show for introducing me to her. She's a badass nerd, and I love that about her. At number 5, I put Rey from Star Wars. Now, I grew up with Star Wars. I think I was very young when the prequels came out, and I was really excited for the new movie. and I instantly fell in love with Rey. Because when I was a kid, I'd go around with my brother and my dad and we'd have lightsaber battles on the landing, and when they kind of turned around and said, oh, Rey's gonna be the Jedi in this, they revealed none of that in the trailers. And when it turned around and she had that lightsaber battle with Kylo Ren, and then when she revealed like she could do the Jedi mind tricks and stuff, my inner child was screaming. It was like, yes! A live action female Jedi in Rey, and she's like one of the main protagonists. I'm totally on board with this. And how badass does Daisy Ridley look on the lightsaber? Like, oh my god, it blows my mind. I can't wait to see more of her, and maybe potentially how powerful she becomes, because she is quite a powerful damn Jedi for someone who's never been trained. I'm really curious to see what they do with her. But Rey's great, so I had to include her on this list. At number 4, she probably won't be the first comic book character, and she definitely won't be the last. I put Jessica Jones. I love Jessica Jones. She is such a great character. I remember going into the series completely blind. I didn't really know much about her at all, but I watched the trailers and I was like, she seems really cool and she's great. I love how she's just so sassy and she kind of rips into people. I really love the scenes in Defenders when she was ripping into Matt's suit and everything. But I love how she kind of has like this mentality that she doesn't really care, and she acts like she doesn't care, but she really has a heart of gold, and if somebody's in trouble, she will stand up and she will fight for them. And I really love that about her. I love the private investigator angle with her. I thought that was really interesting, and I loved that kind of vibe that they brought into her series, and I really can't wait for season 2. Season 2 will probably be already out by the time this video hits, and I probably might have binged it by then. But anyway, Jessica's a great character. Out of all the Defenders, I think her and Matt are my favourites. She is just a badass with a heart of gold, and Jessica's great, and she's awesome. At number 3, I put Nyota Uhura from Star Trek. Wow, where to start with Star Trek, to be honest. I got into the newer movies. I think it was around when Into Darkness came out. I saw trailers for it, so I thought, I'll watch the first movie and then I'll check everything else out. And this was the role that made me absolutely fall in love with Zoe Saldana. She is a fantastic actress and I absolutely adored her in this role. And it made me go back and watch the original series as well, and I really loved the original series of horror as well. I think she's a fantastic character because she is so compassionate and caring, and she's so smart, but she'll hold her own and she won't stand for anyone's shit. She won't be afraid to say, well, maybe we should try this. She pulls her weight. She's definitely a part of the crew, and she's a fantastic part of the crew. Beyond is probably my favourite one out of the newer movies, and I can't wait to watch more of the original series because I really like her in that as well. She just has such a big heart and such a brilliant intellect. She's just such a great character. I really love her. She's up there with a lot of my favourites, so I definitely had to include her on this list because Uhura is badass. She's great and I love her. At number 2, I put Diana Prince, aka Wonder Woman. I probably didn't grow up with that much Wonder Woman. I think I remember watching the Justice League animated series when I was younger, but I have to say I probably jumped on the bandwagon like a lot of people last year when Wonder Woman came out, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It made me fall in love with the character and I want to see more. I saw her, well actually, I loved her in Batman v Superman. I saw her and that was the main reason I wanted to go see the film, was to see Wonder Woman. And I want to read more of her comics. I want to check out more of the character. Oh my god, she's great. I love that she's tough, she's strong, but she's got such a caring heart. She is so compassionate, and I loved how Gal Gadot played her. She played her with like a certain innocence, but without making her seem stupid. Her film meant a hell of a lot to me last year, and it still does, and it will probably be up there as one of my favourite films of all time because of how much it meant to me. Because I wanted to be a superhero when I was a little kid, and to finally kind of, even though we've had female superhero films before that haven't been on the same level as some of the more recent ones, and this was, and I remember watching it and I was like, this is everything that I have wanted since I was a little girl. I wanted to be a superhero when I was a kid. I wanted to pretend to fight bad guys, and it was cool to see that on the big screen in a leading role. Just that film meant so much to me that I had to include Wonder Woman on this list. And at number 1, it is another comic book character, but I had to include her because she is my favourite superhero ever, and I can't wait for a movie. and it is Carol Danvers, aka Captain Marvel. I had to put her at number 1. I originally got introduced to the character in Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes, and in that she was Miss Marvel. And I was curious about this character. I was like, who the hell is this? She seems awesome, she seems badass, I want to know more about her. This is when I was getting more interested in comic book stuff, because I grew up with it and I kind of had like a passing interest. But I think it's when Avengers came out that my Marvel peak began, and I became more interested in characters, more interested in watching animated series and stuff. So I remember going into a comic book store. I think I went into Forbidden Planet with my mom, and we asked, because I wanted to read more about this character, and we asked about Miss Marvel. He showed me and he pulled out an issue of Captain Marvel. He was like, maybe you should start with this. I was like, Captain Marvel? She's taken on that mantle? And we bought it, I read it, loved it, and I haven't looked back since. She's probably one of the main characters that I've actually got quite a few collected editions for, and I try and keep up to date with what's going on with her in the comics, and I want to read as much Captain Marvel as I can. She's such a great character. I love all the Star Wars references she brings in. I love how funny and sassy she can be. I love how badass she is. I love how powerful she is. She's probably one of the most powerful Marvel superheroes, and I can't wait to see that on the big screen. I really can't wait for it. I know I'm probably gonna love it, but at the same time I know I'm gonna nitpick and be like, that was a little different there. That was a little different there. She is great, and she drew the line. She's my favourite superhero ever. Captain Marvel is my number 1 favourite female character ever. Okay guys, that was my top 10 list of my favourite female characters. I imagine this might be a bit short. I had a bit of a limited time for how much I could film, and I didn't want to just overload, because I've been doing lots of lists and some of them will be going on quite long, so I didn't want to make it too long. I'm hoping next week to show you guys my Jessica Jones cosplay. That'll depend on how busy I get. I might have to change that around, but I'm going to a Comic-Con next weekend, and that's the cosplay I'm wearing, so I want to show that off to you guys. Also next weekend I might capture some footage from that said Comic-Con, so expect a potential Comic-Con vlog towards the end of the month. It'd be really cool. Anyway guys, I really hope you enjoyed this list. I hope you guys had an awesome International Women's Day, and those of you that watched Jessica Jones, that you checked it out and loved it. Alright guys, take care of yourselves. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye!